Hey y'all! Well, today we're here to do a review on some more of the Psvane Horizon tubes. These are their 2A3-AT tubes. And I wanted to do this before the owner of these 2A3 amps picked these monoblocks up, because while I have got a 2A3 amp planned for the future, I don't personally own a 2A3 amp, and so I thought this was a good time to do this before these things get out of my hands. So they were nice enough to send me a pair of these tubes to listen to and see what my subjective opinion is. So let me give you more of kind of an objective overview of this tube, what it is, what to expect from it, that sort of thing. So these were a really good amp to use to test these tubes, especially for their durability and ability to meet specification. This amp is really pushing the spec of these tubes. It's about 5 volts over the max rating, and they're also running the tubes really hot. I mean, they're running them close to 95% of their dissipation. And I talked to the owner about this, and we were like, well, it's probably because these new old stock tubes can deal with being, pushed more than modern tubes are. And it came with a pair of these Psvane, probably from the 1950s or earlier 2A3 tubes. And so we just left all the settings where they were, because it does allow the amp to produce more power. And he said, he's kind of limited on how low he can go on a power setting to be able to use these with his speakers in his room and all that stuff. So background on that, so you understand like what these are. And I was a little concerned about putting these modern production tubes into this amp that's really running them hot. And like right now it does have the Psvane in this channel and the Horizon in this channel, so you can see the difference in them. But anyway, I plugged the amps in, let them run for about 4 hours, just idling, and did it at night with all the lights turned off on the room, so I could really watch the plates to make sure that the tube wasn't getting distressed or, starting to red plate, or, seeing some little orange spots on the plates or anything that would tell me, hey, this isn't safe to run these tubes in an amp this hot. And I saw nothing. I mean, like I said, 4 hours of straight idling, they were fine. And on a single-ended amp, the current doesn't change with the volume, and so that made me feel okay about them playing music to them. So, again, another test. Played about 3 hours of music through them just to kind of burn them in a little bit before I started subjective listening. And at the same time, I was keeping an eye on them to make sure they weren't showing signs of distress in these hot amps, and they were fine. So clearly they've done their homework on making sure that these are thermally okay, even if you're pushing the limits of these 2A3 tubes. So as you can look at the two tubes, this has almost twice the plate area of these old Psvanes, which to me is a good thing. And that's also telling me to support that much plate length, it's got to have a lot of cathode area too, which should equate to long tube life. And so that was an interesting thing to note. It's also got the, the same kind of bottle shape. These, aesthetically, these with the rectifier tube kind of match a little better, I guess. If you're, upset about that kind of thing, we're supposed to be listening to these things, but aesthetics are important. These are a little bigger bottle tube. They're more like the size that you'd see with a 300B. So anyway, what does it sound like? I really like the way these Horizon tubes sound. And I've said this in other videos. They've got kind of a house sound of being punchy and having a real, strong kind of upper bass response, and these have that flavor, but to me they're not as strong a signature as the KT88 or even their CV181 tubes had. That these are a little more laid back, like you would expect from a 2A3 tube. So it's not going to turn a 2A3 amp into something unrecognizable. It still has that really smooth mid-range that the 2A3 tubes are known for. And after listening to this amp for a couple of evenings, now I want to get a 2A3 amp built. Probably going to do it with some ISO Tango iron. I've got a Hammond transformer. I'm probably not going to build them as monoblocks, but anyway, we're getting off topic. The Horizon tubes. I think we got another winner here, and they are available on Amazon. I think Psvane's also going to be opening up a website that's specific to this region where you can buy them direct from them. I don't know what the pricing is going to be like or any of that kind of stuff. They haven't shared that with me, but I think they're probably going to be selling them in both places, but they may have better pricing on their own website than they do on Amazon. I don't know what kind of agreement they have with Amazon, whether they can do that or not. So, yeah, good sounding tube. And if you need some 2A3 tubes and you don't want to do the new old stock hunt, these are a good option to go look at. So anyway, just want to thank the folks at Psvane. They've been awesome to work with, and I'm just really impressed with the quality that they're putting into these tubes. And just an example of that, they were planning on doing a 5AR4 tube, but they were struggling to get it to really meet the specs. And they could have released a 5AR4, drop-in tube that in 90% of the amplifiers would work great, but they wanted to make sure that the tubes they released would absolutely meet their specifications, and so they're waiting until they can get all the bugs worked out of it. And that's the kind of people that I like to buy tubes from, that they're not releasing something like, sadly I have to trash JJ on their 5AR4. They've got this tube that just doesn't hold up, and they keep making them and they keep selling them, and so I guess they think, well, people are buying them, so we'll keep making them. I'm not buying them. And so I really appreciate that, like I said, Psvane's waiting until they get all the kinks worked out of that tube before they release it on the market. So anyway, hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Thanks to all you folks that are Patreon supporters and just you regular viewers. I say just. You guys are important. I really appreciate that y'all regularly watch my channel, and it makes me want to keep doing this. And so, subs keep growing. We're going to hit 16,000 or 17 maybe before Christmas. And yeah, let's just hope this channel keeps growing. We'll keep doing tube stuff along with this new reel-to-reel content. We're doing projects. We got that 6C, 33C that's getting close. We're going to be doing some of these acro sound builds and stuff. So I think there's a lot of fun content coming down the pike for the channel. And until the next video, have a nice day.